Flosstube friends. I'm Nancy Joy Trower. I'm the stitcher with the laughing face. This is Flosstube number 10. Thanks so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. I know there's so many floss tubes out there and it's a rabbit hole, right? I mean, you find a new person and it's like, oh, check this person out. And there's so many to choose from. So I really do appreciate that you have chosen to watch mine and for your very kind comments and the likes and subscribing. And it's really just been so much fun these past couple months. If you're new to my channel, thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome. I started in February with a couple ideas in mind. First, that I'm turning 50. And it's only in August now, which is only like a month and a half away from when I turn 50. But I wanted to try to challenge myself to finish 50 projects in my 50th year. And not quite halfway yet, but I'm hoping this summer will give me a lot more time now that school is over. Woo woo! Can I get an amen from my teacher friends? School is over for the summer. Not that it's terrible. You just, you need the break. It's a good thing. Need to refresh. But I do hope to get a lot of stuff done over the summer and not just stitching. I have a lot of scrapbooking and quilting, that projects that have been sitting and they really do need to get finished and get to the person they were supposed to be for. And, Max is now going to be starting his junior year in college and I really want to finish his school yearbook or his school scrapbook, and Brooke will be a senior next year. So I need to get hers going, and Vince won't be far behind. So lots of that kind of stuff I want to get done over the summer. But I wanted to finish 50 projects. And my initial thought was also that I wanted to be able to work through all those projects, those UFOs that have been in my crafting oasis for years. Because when we move out of this house, I can't have an entire U-Haul filled with my stuff. But then my oldest son moved out of the house. He decided to get his own apartment. Which is a bittersweet thing. We're proud of him that he's on his own and he's done a really great job setting it up and keeping track of all of his stuff. We're hoping, bills and all that. But he works really hard at a restaurant, and so we're very proud of him. But it means he's not home. We don't get to see him as much. But it does mean that his room is empty. So the other big thing this summer is that I really want to transform that space into my crafting room and take all of the crafting stuff from all over the house. Because right now I'm sitting on my front porch, which is where the scrapbooking stuff is. It's a giant disaster. If I turned this camera around, you'd probably, well, I don't know. Looks a lot like what I've seen from other people trying, doing Alicia, the Fanciful Flamingo, doing her 15-minute a day challenge to clean up craft rooms. So it always makes you feel like you're not alone when you see other craft rooms. But I have stuff here on the front porch. I have stuff in the basement, which is where my crafting oasis was supposed to be. And then I have like all my stitching stuff really in our bedroom, because I didn't want the floss and the fabric in the basement. So all of it is going to get reorganized and purged and finished so I can fit it all into Sam's room, which I have to start thinking of it as my room. But I'm not sure when that will happen this summer. I do know I'm going to start on doing the purging now that school's over and start organizing. So I may insert a little bit of that into some of these videos, or just do some that are separate craft room reorganization or purging. I'm going to see about, I know there's some stash sites on Facebook or groups on Facebook where you can try to sell your stash, or also Facebook Market. I just might try that too. But I do have a good friend who's a stamper who's going to get a lot of good stuff this summer. She knows who she is. So that's why I started, was, trying to get things organized and get things finished and keep myself not just on task and motivated, but kind of, oh shoot, I forget. I blanket on the word, accountable. Keep myself accountable to actually finish things that I've started that have been just sitting there. So that's where it started from, and it's been a lot of fun. And, I start to see people's names that I recognize, especially when I hear them on another Flosstube winning a prize. Kay Helen's won a couple times from Stitching with the Housewives, and I think Kathy Lee Tansey, I think that's her last name. I think I heard her name too. It's like, oh, I know her when you hear someone else's name, which is really fun. I just won again, which I couldn't believe. It was like, oh my gosh, that's me. I just won another one. The Stitching with the Housewives are on their retreat this weekend with Stitch 1, 2, or stitch, etc. And wouldn't that be awesome to do a retreat with them and get to meet them in person? It'd be so cool. So again, thank you so much for being part of my Flosstube. I really do appreciate it. And I actually have a giveaway at the end because I want to try to encourage a little bit more subscriptions to get signed up. So we'll talk about that at the end. So it's been 4 weeks since my last Flosstube, and I apologize for that, but as Jessica has said on Sweetwater Stitcher, this is just for fun. It's a hobby. And life has just kind of thrown us a couple curveballs. 2 weeks, I try to do it every 2 weeks. And I might even do it maybe every week during the summer, especially if I really get on a roll with finishing stuff up or with the craft room renovation, whatever we're going to call it. But a couple weeks ago when I meant to do it, my husband hurt his back, and he's been in construction for 30 years. So you could just move the wrong way and all of a sudden it's all spasmed up again. So we had to do some work on one of our properties. We own some rental properties. So that was one weekend. And then last weekend I was like, oh, the 19th we have off for Juneteenth. And I was like, I'll just do it then because I have the day off. Well, we've had some pretty poor problems with the cars lately. My Ford Escape is pretty much dead. And it had overheated once on me in March. And then we opened the hood and there was no radiator fluid. We didn't know where it was going. Filled it up, took it to our mechanic. He couldn't find a leak. He couldn't find anything wrong with it. Everything was fine until about 2.5 weeks ago. And then I was on my way home from school and the temperature gauge spiked again and would not cool down. So I'm sitting on the side of the road and my phone is dying because the school I work in is very close to Canada. We can literally see it across the river. So my phone spends all day trying to find signal and it sucks the battery pretty quickly. So my car is dying. My phone is dying. My car is off. Couldn't charge it. Managed to call Phil and get AAA to come and get me because when Phil talked to our mechanics, they said they'd take it in. But they're on Grand Island, and as you can imagine, it is a giant island. If you've ever seen Quiet Place 2, which I haven't seen it, but they came and they shot it here in Buffalo because they used the Grand Island Bridge for that scene where the monsters are like running up the bridge and wiping the cars off of it. That's the bridge that we have to drive over to get to Grand Island. And sometimes it's not fun, especially when it's really windy and snowy. It's not a fun drive. But I did not want to drive my car over that bridge and have it stall or overheat because it's only 2 lanes. And if there's accidents on that bridge, it is a mess for hours. So Phil was brave enough. He came. We switched cars. He drove my car to the mechanic. They put a new temperature gauge in it because they thought maybe it was just overheating or just that was faulty. And that's why the temperature gauge kept spiking because they couldn't find anything wrong with it. Did it again a week later. So we took it to the dealer on Monday. So we dropped it at the dealer, and then I went to go see my son Max, who was visiting his dad for Father's Day. And he's been in New York City all summer, where it was 500 for the air quality when the fires were happening. So I haven't seen him since March. And so as I'm driving to go see him, the dealership calls and says that there is a crack in the cylinder and that the radiator fluid has been leaking into the engine. And they'll give us $1,000 for it if we trade it in. And it was like, oh, okay. So needless to say, Monday I was really not in the mood to be happy and cheerful and floss tubing. So I was like, I'll just stitch and calm down a little bit more for a couple more days. So here we are. Today is Sunday, June 25th, by the way. And that's important because Fat Quarter Shop is having their 20th anniversary 20% off sale. And it's still going on today. So if you haven't seen that yet, get over there before midnight and help them celebrate 20 years. So here we are, finally, after a couple of weeks. I do want to shout out to my cross stitch club. We had a very fun end of our run for the club for this time. We had a little party. Even though clubs were over, we still wanted to celebrate. And I had 8 girls who were in it, and 2 of them are graduating, so they know what they're doing now. They can hopefully continue to stitch, but we had a fun little party. We pigged out on a ton of sugar. And then usually I give the kids in the club a brown paper lunch bag to put their stitching in over the course of the club. So we toss them in a bin and they just come in and grab their bag and can work on their project. But one year, one of the girls came back after the summer and said that someone at home threw her bag out, not knowing what it was. So remembering that, for the party, I went to Party City and Hobby Lobby, and got everyone a brightly colored canvas tote bag, a couple different colors, and I got a couple of packs of fabric markers. And so I let them just go to town and decorate those during the party so that they had something a little bit more noticeable to keep their projects in. So hopefully nothing gets thrown out again. So that was fun. And those are a good group of kids, and I hope that they do continue on. The ones who haven't graduated, I am expecting them to be back for club again. And this time, everybody in the group really got it. Sometimes I get kids who sign up and it's harder than they thought it was going to be, and then they just give up. And sometimes the little ones, like if they're in 4th grade, sometimes their manual dexterity just isn't there yet. But this group really caught on to it, so that's been fun. So thanks, girls, for a fun club this time around. All right, so let's get to stitching. That was a lot of life stuff going on, but it's been 4 weeks, so I'm sorry. It won't be as long next time. All right, so previous finishes, just in time still to show you my June things before they get put away. I have 2 sets of monthly stitches that I change out using the same background. So this is the Sugar Stitches Calendar Girls, and this is the June one. I have the whole set done. I mount them all on the backing piece came from Hobby Lobby in the unfinished section. I saw it there the other day. They still have it. I kind of whitewashed it a little bit. And then because it's already got the metal, I just have to use magnets. I don't even have to use washers. Sometimes I double them up or triple them up depending on how fluffy the ruffle is. I think July's has like 3 or 4 because I used pretty stiff ribbon for that one. But I love the June one because I love the lemonade. It's so bright and cheery. And I actually toyed with this one of not putting June on the top because I have a bunch of lemonade decorations that I put up in August in our kitchen. And I thought this would be cute in there because it went along with it. But there really isn't a good spot in my kitchen to put things that I'm not afraid they won't get splashed. And this is too big for the one spot that I could. So I just left June where it was. But she's very cute. So Sugar Stitches is on Etsy. She's got a whole set of these girls. They all have cute little dresses and their pigtails. There's the gingham border that I always use to with my border. That's just fabric that I made a ruffle with, and a little bit of lace to go along with the lace on the other side. So she's cute and cheerful. And I do have her out right now with a couple of my lemonade decorations, and then I'll put those up in August in my kitchen. The other yearly set that I have that's totally done, well, except for December, is the Year of Celebrations from Hands On Design. This is the first set that she did. And so here's June. It needs a bow, but I have to look for one. So I did all of these on tea-dyed linen, just the regular tea-dyed linen in the tube from Joann or Hobby Lobby or Michael's or wherever. And the other ones were as well, the Sugar Stitches one. And so I mounted on foam core, and then I use a coordinating fabric behind it. So cute little beachy theme for that. I have it out with a few little beachy looking decorations. And I like to switch those out every month. They're fun to change up. My other previous stitch to show you was actually the second thing that I ever picked up off of Etsy when I really started stitching again. Like I never stopped, but it wasn't my main priority for a while. I was doing some other things or just busy. And then I think like a lot of you, 2020 came around and it was such good therapy. So this I got on Etsy from Little Stitcher Shop, and she's actually from Italy. And I just thought it was so cool. It's like, here I am ordering a PDF. I have downloaded immediately from, on the other side of the planet practically. But I love her designs. They're super cute. Look at their cute little dresses. So sweet. So these are the Strawberry Sisters, sorry. Put a little bit of lace around the edge on this one. Kind of go with how dainty they are. And at this point, in 2020, I didn't think Priscilla had just started with her own patterns, but I'd been watching her blog spot for a long time for her finishes, and she always had cute ways of doing things that weren't just putting it in a frame. And she did a lot of things on blocks, and I couldn't find them. So all I used for this one, it's an artist canvas, and I just wrapped the fabric around and stapled it on the back. And then this is mounted on sticky board and then just glued onto the front. And because the canvas is pretty flat, it usually just stands up by itself. I don't even have to lean anything on it. But if you haven't checked out her shop, Little Stitcher Shop, and I will link that below, but she has really great stuff. She has a whole set of literary stitches. She has, if you like spooky Halloween, she's got some seriously spooky Halloween stuff. Famous women. She's got a whole thing of fairy tales and nursery rhymes. Really, really cool. Not too big, so easy to do, and just very awesome designs. So check her out, and I'm going to show you another one of hers at the end in my plans. All right, so those are my previous. Now, in 4 weeks, you think I would get a ton of stitching done, and I did do a lot. But my big main focus was finishing the June month to month because I wanted it up. I wanted to be able to enjoy it. And I did. So this is what I stitched on for a good portion of June, probably half of it. And I am so, so happy with the way that this turned out. It's so cute. So the board I got at Michael's, I use this for all of them. And Chelsea said something once in one of the videos about if you're going to reuse, or you're going to have the same black and white check on each one, why make one for each month? Just make one. And I thought that was brilliant, very smart. So I put that on. That is glued to the board with the washers on it. And then I just line up the magnets. There's my back. Didn't quite make an envelope there. So they just hook right on. And I also put a magnet at the top for my bow. And then just stuck a bow magnet on the back of the bow as well. It does actually, oops, guess I didn't line those up very well. It does actually have a hanger on the back, but I usually have this on a table with other things around it. Right now I have like a strawberry cookie jar, but also because the round goes with it. So the pink, that is the fat quarter that I picked up at Joann's. I showed it in my last video, and it was one of those like, oh, this is really cute. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'm going to pick it up. And I thought it was perfect. When I went to look in my stash, it was just so cheerful, and it really brings out the barn. And so I just used the fat quarter for the mat, then cut it into strips, tied one of the strips into the bow. And then on the bow, I had also picked up little buttons from Joann's. I had to snip the loop off the back, but I hot glued that into the middle of the bow. And then I also used one on the round. So for the rounds, I just have wooden hoops, and I painted them black. I did a bunch at a time, all at once one time. Made the ruffle with the other strip of, well, 2 strips actually, of fabric. And then I glued a strawberry right there too. So this I think will actually wind up leaving up because I'm going to put the Strawberry Girl sisters are going to stay out in July because we still eat strawberries in July. And I'm going to put the strawberry one that doesn't have the month on it with it and a couple other little strawberry things. So I have this little stand that I use to put the rounds on, and then they stand up next to it. Works out pretty well. Just happened that the first one I had done was September, and I already had the little apple stand. So that was my full finish, and I'm just so happy with it. It came out so cute. So I do have a bunch of new starts. Some of them are actually done already. But a couple weekends ago, Alicia and Jessica, who are the coordinators or administrators for Stitch Your Stash 2023, there's a Facebook group. It's SYS 2023. They did one of their 6 in 6 weekends. And the idea of that is that you do 6 hours of work on stitching that weekend. And sometimes they tell you do 6 new starts or do 6, hours on the same thing, whatever you want to do. So I didn't get all 6 hours. I only did 5 because I spent 2 hours kitting everything up for patriotic stuff. But my first hour, I worked on the June because I was really trying to get that done. And then I started 4 new patriotic stitchings. So the first one I started is actually done. And that one also is part of Nicole Spore's Sal. She is doing her Flossiversary Sal, which was all Cherry Hill Stitchery patriotic. So this is Red, White, and Bloom. And I have always admired this one. I just thought I like the colors. I thought they were super cute. And I just bought this right before she announced the sale, like a few days before. So I was like, oh, perfect timing. So this is one of the things I started that weekend, and no, it's not iron. I should iron. I'm sorry. But that is all done, and I just love it. This is using the called for threads. It's on tea-dyed linen, which I think is great. It really makes that, it's the B5200 white. That's bright white, really makes it pop. So that was my first start that weekend, and it is done. I'm probably going to turn that into a little pillow. That is my plan. And then the next thing I started, which also counts towards Nicole's sale, the Flossiversary sale. I want to see if I can get my hands on the Jingle Bell one for her July sale, because that's next. This is Sweet Land of Liberty. Also very cute. I'm really starting to fall in love with Cherry Hill Stitchery. She's got the cute strawberry one. She's got a bunch of Christmas ones. Very cute things. So this is how far I've done on that. Now, at the beginning of the end of May, when I was thinking about my plans for June, I was going to do 5 for 5 and do like 5 days on strawberries and 5 days on patriotic. And I always have bees. I can stitch strawberries and bees for the rest of the year and still not be done. And I want to do a bunch of stuff, stitchings about stitchings for my new crafting space. And then I started on the patriotic, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to do 5 for 5 on patriotic stuff. So this is, I started this on the 6 and 6, and then I did 5 days on it. And I would like to get this wrapped up to this July. So, and I usually leave my 4th of July stuff out for all of July, because when you have things that say July on it, like the monthly, like the little girl, the little calendar girl, she's got a flag and stuff. So like right now I still have June up because it's June. So I just leave the 4th of July stuff up pretty much all July, maybe towards the very end, but then I'll even still, you know, if I have those stitchings out, I'll also have some 4th of July stuff with them too. So hopefully that will be out on display before the end of the month. All right, so then my other start from 6 and 6, and I don't have a pattern to show you because this is from Pinker and Punkin, and all of her stuff on her blog spot. If you haven't checked it out, Pinker and Punkin blogspot.com. She gives everything away for free. It's amazing. So I don't have a pattern picture to show you. I just have the pattern. But this is Freedom Saltbox. And it also is going to count, if I finish it before June 30th, the Colorado Cross Stitchers Summer Camp. June was to make something with a bird on it, so there's my bald eagle. Now I did notice this is on the Carolina, and the white is not showing up on it very well, and I feel terrible because I did the Honey of a Tiny Town on the Carolina, and I loved it. It looked great. You know, working on it up close, you could see things, but then when I finished it, so it's totally done, the white buildings don't show up as well as they should. And I was like, oh, I wish I had just like run a stitch around them to outline them, which I am going to do to the eagle's head. I'm just going to put a little brown stitch around it when I put the eye in, so that you can actually see his head up here, because otherwise you're not going to be able to. And this light's not really helping. The only thing I changed otherwise was I changed this blue. I changed the blue of the house. She had kind of like a washed out blue, so I went with a brighter one, and then I had to make the flag a little bit brighter too. But this one I'm hoping to be finished with today, because this has been 5 days on this one. And then if I do finish it, I'm going to go back to the Liberty one and work a little bit more on that. And then I had one more start on the 6 and 6 weekend, because the first was the strawberry, and then I had 4 starts after that. So this is the only, that was an hour. Doesn't look like much, does it? But that is going to be Star Spangled Street from Primrose. And this is what I'm going to be working on for the next 5 days. So the last 5 days of June, this is going to be my top priority. Now, this one is all Weeks Dye Works and Classic Color Works, and I don't have a ton of that in my stash. So I was ready to just do a DMC conversion, and someone had commented on a question of mine and given what she had used. But then Emily said something in one of the Primrose Cottage videos. Now she and Holly Jones curated the color and cotton conversion for A Stitcher's Garden, which I used, and I absolutely fell in love with the color and cotton. It is beautiful floss to work with. That's the raw linen that I had, Belfast linen I had from Zweigert that was in my stash, that it really pops on. And I've been trying to find just the right thing to use the rest of what I had, because these are pretty big skeins and I didn't really use up very much from the Stitcher's Garden. And I didn't want it to just go in a drawer and not be used. So Emily said something one day that she was going to use some of the floss that she had left over from the garden on a patriotic stitch. And I was like, oh, perfect. So that is what I'm going to do. So here's the color and cotton that is left from A Stitcher's Garden. So I'm going to use all of that for the house, like the reds and the blue and the green. There's still quite a bit of it. And then it needed a couple browns, so I looked through what I had, and I had some browns from Classic Color Works. And then I have a couple things from DMC that'll work. There's not a lot of white that was left, so I'm just going to use regular 3865, and then a couple blues. I'm still kind of like thinking about the blues because I don't know that these are great. I think this one's not very good, actually. The 3765 isn't quite right, but the dark blue is. The light's not very good in here today. Sorry about that. But I'm very excited to get to this one tomorrow and start working on that. So thanks for the... Sorry, I keep dropping stuff on my floor. Thanks for the idea for that, Emily, to use the color and cotton, because I really didn't want to stick it in a drawer and forget about it. It's too pretty for that. And I wished I lived a lot closer to their store, because their stuff is just gorgeous. I'd be in trouble if I lived a lot closer to their store. All right, so that's... Oh, wait, I have one more start. So now that it's beautiful summer weather, we do a lot of outdoorsy things all summer long. And when we go mountain biking, it's usually about an hour-and-a-half drive. We have a couple places that we like to go. One of them is near Rochester, and so that's about an hour-and-a-half. So... And then we have a couple trips planned too. So I was thinking I was going to stitch in the car. Threw everything together one day, take it with me, and realized I didn't throw scissors in the bag. So there went that idea. So I decided I was going to kit up a car, like my to-go bag for the car, so that I could stitch. And I decided I was going to make it something that was on Ada, because it's so much easier to see the holes in a moving vehicle. Now, I'm not big on Ada. I don't use a lot of it. So I was thinking, like, what do I have that I wanted to do on Ada? So the first Roundabout set that Chelsea and Priscilla came out with was the Christmas one. And there's Santa's Tree Farm, and there's Mrs. Claus's Bakery. There's a cute little cardinal one, and the merry-go-round, and I think a candy cane cottage that's like up on a pedestal. So knowing that I wanted to do those, I purchased a tube of the iridescent Ada, because I was like, oh, how cool would that be if it's on sparkly fabric? So the last time we were in the car, I took it with me, and so there's my start on Mrs. Claus's Bakery. Oh, you can't really see that it's sparkly. It's sparkly. It's kind of funny because they used pinking shears to cut the edges on this one, so there was like little flecks of white everywhere. But so I should be able to get all 6 of those roundabouts on this one piece of fabric. So that is my to-go stitching for the car, so that I'm not not bored. Sometimes I knit in the car too because I don't have to think very hard on that. It's just knit, purl, for purl, or knit, for, purl, for is pretty much what I've been doing lately. So, alrighty. So that's all my whips. So haul. I actually have a little bit of haul. I was bad in May because people kept having sales. First there was Mother's Day sales, then there was Memorial Day sales, and I bought stuff. So Annabella's had a big sale, and I picked up some fabric because it was, I think it was 40% off. I think it was a really big sale. So I picked up Quilts Pewter, and this is 28 count linen. I think it's a fat quarter. Don't know if you can really see it. I do love dyeing my own fabric, but it's hard to get the light colors. I haven't really had good luck. Things have always come out a little bit darker than I wanted. I was trying to do some cool stuff for Halloween last year, and it came out on a pretty dark gray. So this might be better for what I was planning on. It was the Witch Next Door from Primrose. It's like the cute little house and the witch lying, and I think her laundry's on the line. I think that'll show up better on that. And then I also got this beautiful 32 count ice blue linen. So that'll be very pretty on, I thought maybe even the Polar Plunge from Hands On Design perhaps. And then I had to see what the fuss was about. She actually had some 28 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I know this is Nettie's favorite. So I was like, I'm going to give that a try. And I have a question for you to help me with that and whether that's the right fabric for something a little bit. So I thought since I had that to show, I would also show you how I store my fabric. Might be a little unconventional, but I like stuff in tubes because then it takes out the wrinkle. So I got the basket a couple of weeks ago at the Dollar Tree because I'm going to be using red as my focal color in my new crafting room. So I bought a whole bunch of red containers because they're $1.25. And this is perfect because I used to have them in a bag and I couldn't see through the bag. So now I can really see what do I have, and probably don't need to buy blue for a while. And I do actually take things out of the, like I will now take this out and put it in one of the tubes. I have an empty one. But then like this is the chalkboard linen. So I took the label and stuck it in there too, so I would know what it was. But that's how I've been storing my linen or my fabric, and I really like it because it's easy to see, and I always have an empty tube. Seems like. I do have a few things that are in bags. These are some things that I hand dyed myself last year. So I have my hot pink color. I have a gray. This one actually came out pretty good. That I used for Hands On Design's Mystery Sal last year. And then this purple, this was what I was trying to do to get this one. And it came out way too purple, but I used that for something else. And that was my own chalkboard try. So that was kind of fun. And then I've done the denim for the Strawberry Festival, which I still need to work on. And I want to start Honeybee, but have to get my hands on some black coffee. Classic Colorworks, because they were all out. Although I think, hopefully it's still in my cart. Fat Corner Shop was actually back in stock on that today. And I was like, woohoo! I have to get like 8 skeins of it because they use a lot of black coffee in all of their, Stitching with the Housewives, they use a lot. All right, plans. So I was, like I mentioned, in the beginning, at the end of May, I was thinking about June and I was going to do 5 for 5. And I kind of did. I started out with strawberries, wanting to get the June done. And then I went to, I was going to do 5 days of patriotic. And then I just did 5 days on the different patriotic patterns that I have. And I'm still going to finish that off. So for July, what I think I'm going to do though is not even just 5 days, but I'm going to do full weeks. So the first week of July, I'm going to do patriotic and just keep on stitching. I want to finish up the things that I've started so I can have them out. The second week of July, I'm going to do all Pinker and Punkin. So, and some of that is patriotic as well. One of the things that I kitted that I didn't get started, she had this cute little Freedom truck. I think I might actually have a picture. It's 2 little eagles driving a truck. So adorable. And then she also has this summer, yeah, here it is. So that's, because I don't have, that's from her blog. That's the Freedom Truck. So I want to work on that during that full week. And see if I have it on here. Yes, this one. This is one of hers that I've loved for a long time. It's Bee's Summer Saltbox. I think that's the name. Bee's Summer House. And I'm actually going to do this on blue because the bottom is almost completely covered. So I thought with blue fabric, then it will look like a blue sky. So that's my plans for the Pinker and Punkin week. My patriotic week, I'm just going to keep on with the Sweet Land of Liberty, Star Spangled Street, and maybe I will start the Stars and Stripes Street from Priscilla and Chelsea because I want to do all 4 of those together in one. So cute. And someone had mentioned on Page or Flosstube somewhere doing the fireworks in metallic. And I was like, oh, that's such a great idea because then you'll have a little bit of sparkle. So that's what I'm hoping for. And then the rest of July is going to be, so the last 2 weeks is going to be Jolly July. And I'm sure that there will be patterns that I want to get, but I already have a ton of Christmas. One thing I do want to get on the Welcome to the North Pole bandwagon because that one just, they've got a lot of cute stuff. And I actually have her Christmas rules that I bought after Christmas last year that I want to do. But the North Pole simply is darling. It really is cute. So I do want to do that, but I have a lot of stuff. I have gingerbread from Priscilla and Chelsea last year. I have their Christmas Let's Go Ride a Bike that I want to do. So I think I have plenty to work on for those 2 weeks of Jolly July. And I'll talk about more about those as we get close. But that is one of my questions for you. For the Welcome to the North Pole, if you are on the Primrose Facebook page, you may have seen some people did it on black. And it turned out really cute. So I have plenty of black fabric, but I also have my new vintage country mocha. So that is my question that I would love your opinion on. So you can make comments on the video today. Should I do Welcome to the North Pole on black chalkboard linen or the vintage country mocha? So that's question number 1. But I do have another question. Because one of my other plan for starting this week, listening to a lot of other people, very often stitchers will have a special stitch that they started on a special day. So something started on Mother's Day, or some people start things on birthdays. And so I have, sorry, I'm scrolling through my stuff. I have pictures to show. My mother's birthday is Tuesday. She would have been 82. And as I was thinking about what to say, and full disclosure, I practice what I'm going to say while I'm driving. So while I was in my car driving and talking about Little Stitcher Shop, an idea popped into my head. When I said she has a lot of really cute literary samplers, she has an Anne of Green Gables one, which I must do at some point because Anne's one of my alter egos. And she has Little Women, Jo March, she's another one of my favorites. But she has a Mary Poppins that is just adorable. And my mom's favorite movie was Mary Poppins with Julie Andrews. How can you not love Julie Andrews? Her voice is perfect. So this is the Little Stitcher Shop's Mary Poppins. And I'm going to start this on Tuesday. It's a PDF download, so I should be able to start right away. And I'm going to work on it on the 27th in honor of my mom. She's been gone 11 and a half years now. And, you know, it's different, but it's not always, it doesn't really necessarily get easier, but I wanted to do this for her. I think I'm going to leave off the Anything Can Happen, because that's really more from the book than the movie. And I read all the books when I was a kid. And I think the quote here is also from the books, but I think I might change it to practically perfect in every way and figure out how I want to just, you know, change the spacing a little bit, or maybe add spit spot and off we go, or something like that, something. Because open different doors, you may find a you there that you never knew was yours. I I don't think that's in the movie. And I know my mom read the books too, but I think she liked the movie more. So as I was thinking about Mom's birthday and starting something special in honor of her, their anniversary is only 2 days later. They were married on June 29th. And when I did the math, I was like, oh my gosh, this would have been their 60th anniversary this year. Mom's been gone, like I said, for 11 and a half years. Dad's been gone for 7. And they didn't even make it to their 50th because Mom passed just about a year before it. But 60 years. And were they here? You know, we would be having a giant celebration. So I was like, I'm going to start something on the 29th. So every 27th and 29th, I'll work on these. But I'm not sure what I want to do. I've narrowed it down to 2 possibilities. First, I was looking for something with birds. First, I was looking at cardinals, but because we like cardinals. But there's so many of them that it was 2 male cardinals in the pictures, and it's like female ones look different. They're not bright. So I found this one, and I thought that was really sweet. And it is, oh, I don't have who it's by right there. Sorry. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. It's La Foja, Lefoja. So I think her name looks like Ukrainian or Russian or something like that when you looked at her name. Or the other one I found after much searching this morning. This is from Blackbird Designs. It's one of their anniversaries of the heart stitches. And this is the Evergreen Lane. It says Frank Adams weds Leona Williamson with the date. And I thought that might be nice too, to put their names and the date there. So that's my second question to you is, should I do the birds or should I do the house for my parents? If I do the house, I'll have to wait to start it because I'd have to order it. But that's okay. It would be the intention to start it on the 29th. Now, if you answer my 2 questions, I'm going to do a giveaway this week. I know I haven't done giveaways in a while because the last time I did one, no one claimed it. So I just kind of, yeah. But I found this one when I was doing a little cleaning out of my patterns. I had a giant bee, well, you know I'm still hooked on bees, but several years ago I bought a whole bunch of bee stuff that I was going to do for my classroom, and I did a few of them, but this is the one that I purchased. This is actually from Heartstring Samplery, and it's really pretty. It's a whole bunch of little fobs, but it's just not my style anymore. This is, you know, and I don't really have like a spot that I would put them in a bowl or something. So here's what we're going to give it away for. For about 2 months, I've been stuck at about, it's funny, it's like 484 subscribers. Sometimes it's 485, sometimes it's 482. So it goes up and down a little bit, but I'm kind of stuck at this 484 number. And I would really love to hit 500 or even higher than that. So if by the next video, which I'm hoping to do on July 3rd, I think I'm going to go to Mondays instead of Sundays because usually Sundays are kind of busy with church. I got to go to a picnic in just a little bit. I made chocolate strawberries yesterday. So with church and family stuff going on, Mondays are probably going to be easier for now, especially during the summer, to be able to do my videos. So if by the next video I hit 500, I'm going to give this away to a person who answers one of the questions. So if you like the video, subscribe to it, and answer my question, I have 2. So you can answer either one or both. Should I stitch the Welcome to the North Pole on black or the Vintage Country Mocha? And my other question is, for my parents' anniversary stitch, should I do the Lovebirds or should I do the house? So those are my 2 questions. So answer the question, like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll hit 500 and then I'll be able to give this away. So you also do need to be over 18 then, because I will need to send it to you in person, of course. And I was going to say you have to be in the USA, but you know what? I could practically throw it to Canada from here. So if you're from Canada, that's okay too. We'll do that. And hoping that my Canadian neighbors who've been watching are doing better with their air quality, because that was pretty scary for a week there. It wasn't terrible here in Buffalo, but we were inside. The kids didn't go outside for anything at school. Max in New York was wearing a mask everywhere he went outside. My brother and my sister-in-law are in Syracuse, and that was pretty bad too. It looked kind of like the apocalypse in some of the pictures, the way the sky was very orange. But glad that those are settling down, and we just had a whole ton of rain, so hopefully that's been helping people too. So I hope you had a wonderful June. I hope you have a very happy and safe 4th of July. Hope your poor puppies don't have too much of a terrible time with fireworks. I know mine always did. But I hope you have a good 4th of July and all the parties that are going on now, graduation parties, and, you know, people are starting to go on their vacations. So I hope you are happy and healthy and safe. And I hope to see you next week on July 3rd. With a couple more patriotic things done, hopefully. And I may even do step 1 of my room renovation, which is going to be reorganizing the fabric, like the quilting fabric stash. And you'll see why I'm starting with that next time. So thanks again for spending some time with me. I hope that you enjoyed it, and that you maybe saw some things that you want to stitch too. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Happy stitching.